And here we go.
Suggs for the win! Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
Jesperson, half-court lead for the win!
Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship!
And the next stop on the Purdue redemption tour is the Final Four!
Hello, friends. Welcome back into another episode of the D1 and Done Pod. This episode brought to you by the official Mountain West and SEC correspondent, the benefactors of the podcast, the Hagen Hall Boys. You can give us a follow on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. That is D1 and Done Pod. You can also email us. It is d1anddonepod@gmail.com. You can also send us messages via our SpeakPipe. We need to get some more messages from all of you via SpeakPipe. SpeakPipe.com/D1andDonePod, where you can send us our voice messages. You can also send us snail mail to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That is Washington, D.C. I'm sure the message will get answered within 2 to 3 business days, and you can really pass along how you truly feel about the podcast in college basketball. So, that said, got all the boilerplate stuff out of the way. I'm Robbie Donahoe, Nick Mills, Dusty Mills, producer Jake Mills, all locked in for Season 2, Episode 28 of the D1 and Done Pod. If this is your first time listening, welcome aboard. Dusty played Division I men's college basketball at Kentucky and Ball State. And we should say it is D1 plus 1 and done, technically, because producer Jake also played college basketball. Now, at the Division I level, it's...
My first points were on against a Division I team.
So we can kind of go ahead and say D1. So we can go say D1 and 1 and done, I guess, in a weird way.
like and one.
And 1! Yeah, it really rolls off the tongue. So,
Real quick, since we're talking about basketball,
of course.
you guys will see Pau Gasol and Jason Williams in a video game in 2004.
I would have thought that's Luis Scola and...
Was Stromile Swift on that team too?
Wow.
Probably.
Sure,
Great SEC throughout. Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
Robbie, continue.
LSU's finest.
That
So,
fucked up when you're talking about college basketball.
no, that was great. I want to start with Nick because Nick's usually our bracket matrix bubble kind of guy. So Nick, I just want to jump straight into talking about the bubble and bracket matrix and kind of where seeding is. So let me run through the teams that did punch their ticket to the big dance this over the last couple days. Because it is important. We have a couple first-timers, which we're very excited about. One of those first-timers, how about the High Point Panthers getting it done over Winthrop, 81-69. High Point might be a team you want to keep an eye on. Those guys are they're good. 29-5 overall, 14-2 finishing in the Big South. They defeated Winthrop in that Big South championship game. As I pointed out, that was the first time the Big South was a neutral site championship game, so that was kind of fun to see.
You could say Rob, you could say they're at a high point in the season.
They certainly have hit their high point this season. That is for sure. We did get our first ticket punch was on Saturday. How about Southern Illinois Edwardsville? SIUE gets their first ticket into the big dance as they win their conference, which was a bit of a surprise, I'm not going to lie. Were they the 6th seed in the Ohio Valley, I think? Does that sound right?
We didn't have anybody.
I thought they're actually the 2 seed. I think you're wrong on that.
They're the 2 seed. Okay, they're the 2 seed. I don't know why I thought they were the 6th seed. So they were the 2 seed. Defeated
Southeast Missouri State, right?
And Southeast Missouri State was the 1 seed that was played down in Evansville. So SIUE, the Cougars, make their first trip to the big dance in school history. We talked about High Point. Drake looked massively impressive today in their win over Bradley as they won Arch Madness. So they will be moving on to the NCAA tournament. We'll have another one coming up. We're doing this pod Sunday evening, so we'll have another ticket punch tonight in the Summit League Championship with Omaha and St. Thomas, Minnesota.
Thomas!
And we also just mentioned Lipscomb is in the big dance. They defeated North Alabama 76-65. So just overall, Nick, of those teams, anyone jumping off the page at you or anything else from Bubble Watch we need to go through then?
First of all, I will address not feeling the best today. Had too much fun this weekend. Drink responsibly, kiddos out there. I guess not
Drink
kiddos.
responsibly, everyone.
But and sorry if I'm a little distracted at times. I'm doing my fantasy baseball draft at the moment. So
Oh wow.
multitasking over here. Took Ellie in the
On
first
company
round.
time?
On company. I can do a lot of things.
Multitasker.
I'm a
Come on.
multitasker. I'm a man who gets things done. Jake Mills.
I'm going to get a call from the Hagen Hall boys here in a minute. They're going to be pissed.
They're already pissed.
They're already
Yeah,
pissed
fall
at
in
that.
line.
They're already mad that we don't have tarps on.
But yes, Robbie. And also, too, once we have to pod, I will update the conference tournament champions and where we're all at. So I'll send that. I might even tweet it out for the people out there so they can.
I have it pulled up right now.
Or, yeah, wherever we need to do. But, yeah, Robbie, it's kind of interesting. So far, like, there's not really, I guess, bid stewar's not the right word, but, like, Drake and High Point were supposed to win their leagues, and
Right.
they got the job done, which I always like. I know it's fun watching, 6 seeds make it, but it's also kind of nice to watch, like, the legitimate teams make the tournament and also make the first round a lot more interesting.
So there's the question I want to ask, because I guess, is Missouri Valley going to be a 2-bid league now that Bradley has lost? Because I think we kind of expected Drake was going to get in regardless, but does Bradley have a chance now?
No. And by the way,
That would be hard now.
the biggest loser today might be Drake the rapper, because now there's gonna be so many just awful jokes in his way on Twitter with Drake basketball.
Or a big opportunity for him to have a comeback here.
Oh, or maybe that. Yeah, there's
Who knows?
two things, lines of thinking here. You want me to get into the Matrix and what we're at here, Rob?
Yeah, let's run through seedings, kind of seeing where everyone is, last 4 in, all that kind of stuff.
Alrighty,
Can I say one thing real quick, just so we know?
please.
I'm pretty sure St. Thomas does not qualify for the NCAA tournament, so Omaha is already in the tournament.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That I was wondering why Omaha was kind of claiming
So
that. On
yeah, Omaha's in.
that makes sense. Okay.
Alright, according to the Matrix, and this is updated today, which has been nice about the Matrix, they've been updating every single day now, this time of year. So, the last five teams in right now, in order. San Diego State went 1-1 this week, Oklahoma, Indiana, Ohio State, and Xavier. Those are your last 5 teams in right now. Xavier's on W7. IU got the big win on Saturday against Ohio State. Oklahoma got the big 2-0 week over Texas and... Who else did beat? Missouri. Beat Missouri as well.
Yeah.
And San Diego State, they did lose, we mentioned last show, at UNLV on, I believe it was Wednesday, but they did beat Nevada on last night. But the first team out right now, this is very fascinating, is Boise State, and they play San Diego State first round of the Mountain West tournament. So that's going to be a massive, massive game for both teams. The other teams out, in order. Boise State and then North Carolina, who lost home against Duke last night. Texas.
It had that game won too. Like they just,
Oh.
sorry.
Oh crap! I'm on the clock.
That was an awful.
Who are you drafting?
Well, here I'll keep.
Chapman, I got it. Okay, I'm going. Matt Chapman, welcome aboard. North Carolina, like I mentioned, Texas won at Mississippi State, lost to Oklahoma, and then the fourth to last team out is Nebraska, who's on an L5. And
Bad loss today. Bad loss.
And get this.
Jeez.
They did not qualify for the Big Ten tournament because of that loss to Iowa. They are out.
Yeah.
Out. There's like 16, 7, 13. They lost a tiebreaker. They're
I did not know that.
I was in the Big Ten tournament then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 3 teams in Michigan.
No way!
Wait, what three's out again?
That'd be Washington, Penn State, and now Nebraska.
Oh my gosh! So it was a 5-way tie for basically that one spot out, and Nebraska lost the 5-way tie. Are you kidding me?
So I know it's not gonna happen. I hope somehow they still make the tournament so they qualify for the NCAA tournament and not the Big Ten tournament.
We'll we can half rest.
And also shot the ACC. 2 of the teams who did not qualify were Miami and NC State, and they have made the Final Four in the last 2 years. So shout out Miami.
And neither one of them have technically an active head coach. Well, they do and they don't. But
Oh yeah, thank you, Jay. Yeah, Kevin Keith, for people to see, North Carolina State coach. A year after taking him to the Final Four,
Gets fired.
was let go.
He doesn't even get one more year. Their first Final
maybe
Four
he
in 40
didn't
years?
want it.
That's astounding to me. I know that's getting off track, but I want to go back to Nebraska because
Pinnacle Bank.
incredible that one, they lost at home because they play very well at home. Before this loss to Iowa today, their last 3 games they lost by a combined 7 points. That contributed in their 5-game losing streak. Also, before that, they had a 6-game losing streak earlier in the Big Ten season. They had 2 5-plus game losing streaks this year, and they still finished with a winning record. And like Bryce Williams tried to single-handedly take this team into the Big Ten tournament, but it is shocking to me that all Nebraska had to do was beat a bad Iowa team at home, and they get boat raced by the Hawkeyes. Peyton Sanford was unreal today, so I guess Nebraska didn't want it. They were ready to call quits.
Yeah, and especially for Nebraska too, you had all momentum of making the tournament last year. It felt like Hoiberg was getting rolling. Not saying that like he's gonna get fired or anything, but gosh, this is just such a kind of a buzzkill for Black and Bear tournament to not even make it to Indy for the Big Ten tournament. Which, by the way, not to get off topic, you see no pinwheel this year for the Big Ten tournament.
No pinwheel. They have the Big Ten tournament logo and
cover the whole court.
I kind of like the logo. I also should mention we all made the same amount of shots as Connor Esigian today in the Nebraska-Iowa game.
What shots are you talking about?
Dusty was out in the driveway earlier.
Dusty did go 22
Oh yeah,
for
we
50.
did. We'll get
Well,
to
okay.
that.
In a college basketball game,
I was talking about vodka.
we all had the same amount of makes. Connor Esigian went 0 for 11 from the field today.
Oof.
0 for 8 from 3.
Sounds like me at the bar with the women. Shout out, Connor. Keep shooting, buddy.
Shoot your shot, playa.
Your shot.
Wow.
So that's incredible that Nebraska didn't make it in. So, I would imagine they probably are not making it into the tournament. So, of those last few teams in, here's the topic that I wanted to get into with you guys is, and this is why I continue to maintain this. I think there's going to be a team that we aren't expecting to make it in that's going to make it in because we see so many bracketologists that have inherent bias for the ACC or the SEC or the Big Ten because, whether it's Joey Brackets on ESPN, pumping sunshine on North Carolina, keeping them in the field, or it's the Big Ten with continue to find a way for Ohio State to be in or Nebraska or whatever it is. Are we going to get a team in that we aren't expecting because we see so much from these bracketologists of these teams that are in the last 4 in line that are not even going to make it in?
Well, can I say one thing right before that? Robbie,
Sure.
I think you're the most knowledgeable here.
Disagree.
How much for this question, how much of those bracketologists, is that straight up just analysis on their end, or is there is there any type of feel from the committee to them? Is there communication going on now, you think? Or is it more of they all kind of got the eyes on each other and they're...
So I know from personal experience and a fact that Joe Lunardi is not watching, he's not watching a lot of college basketball. He's strictly analytics and numbers. He's not, there's no eye test going on whatsoever with him. It is simply based off of quad systems, numbers, and analytics. That's how he's deciding who's in and out. Those high point bracketologists, for lack of a better term, they do not have a connection to athletic departments. Now, there may be a push from higher ups at ESPN to be like, make sure you keep North Carolina in the conversation. Or something along those lines of, or like Texas, because again, the ESPN has contracts with the ACC and the SEC, so they want to make sure that those teams continue to stay relevant. It's why you see Mike DeCourcy, who works for Fox, he's the bracketologist for them. That's the Big East and the Big Ten with Fox. That's why you see Xavier always in the conversation, and sometimes in some instances very highly, probably too high of a seed. So I think it's that inherent bias in there, and that's why I think like a UC Irvine, it's going to be fascinating if they don't win the Big West, and UC San Diego takes it, and all the bracketologists, like the national bracketologists, say they're probably not going to make it in. Are you going to see the anteaters in because we see so much from these biased bracketologists from these networks?
Which again, no free ass. But that's what I love the bracket matrix. It's just. It takes all the best bracketologists, put them together.
Right.
But to answer your question earlier, Robbie, I think. Go ahead, Jake.
I was saying it was AI before AI.
AI before AI. Shout out. But yeah, the matrix for people who don't follow it. Most of the years, like 10 teams, kind of like first 10 teams out. It's been cut to 5. So to me, the bubble is so shrinking. I can't see a shocker to me like a Cincinnati or something like that. I shout the Bearcats. They got smoked at Oklahoma State on Saturday. Nice job, Wes. Yeah, I don't see any shockers, honestly, Robbie, this year. I think the bubble is just shrinking by the day.
So you're not seeing Wichita State?
They're not going to shock us. No. Shock the world.
I
That
still
was too
think,
easy. I'd throw that out there.
I think the only shocker is going to. Well, I think there could be two shockers. I think one is UC Irvine. If they don't win the Big West, I think there's a chance they could make it in. I would still at least keep. Well, I'll give you two more teams to keep on your radar. Dayton, maybe, but they're way down the list. And
I mean, and I'm looking at the net rankings right now. UC Irvine 62nd, Dayton 64th, was now 66th.
What's IU on the net now? Just by the way, just for
aren't they 50,
reference.
55?
Okay, I thought they were high
52nd
mid high
right now.
52nd. Okay, they moved up a little
52.
bit. Yeah, but like IU is comfortably in, and they're 52nd in the net. Like, is that not ringing alarm bells for? Like, they are 4 spots ahead of Northwestern in the net. Northwestern.
Shell Chris Collins, 56.
So-
And okay, well, hold on, Robbie, since you brought that up. Northwestern 56, Nebraska, who we just talked about, was 57.
Yeah.
Not even playing their conference tournament.
No, but here's another one that's currently there. I keep talking about these teams. You didn't mention SMU. You didn't mention Villanova.
And I didn't mention Nick's Cincinnati Bearcats are 50th, so above.
Right.
There you go.
All these teams.
I think we're still in line for a surprise somewhere, because again, I think the committee tries to distance themselves from those predictors and those analytic people. But again, I understand what Bracket Matrix is doing, but also I think that there's not as much continuity amongst those biased bracketology people. But yes, I know what you're saying. I know what you mean.
No, that's a good point too, Robbie. Yeah, maybe this is the way we get like a shocker. Because again, there really is not much consensus on the bubble.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I had not thought like that either. Now you got me a little excited for next Sunday.
Who's the team that when they lose their first round this conference tournament game, you're like, okay, there's no chance they're getting in, because that's where that shocker comes from. Because it's not going to be the brand. Again, for basic college basketball fans, it's not going to be a brand.
I think it's if Irvine or San Diego losing the Big West.
Yeah, if UC
West.
Irvine or UC San Diego,
I mean, I would assume it's never been a too big league, right?
Surely
I
not.
imagine.
There's something about it that I think they're going to find a way to get both of those in. I just talking through it right now, I have a really bad feeling that they're going to find a way to get North Carolina in.
I know that's the team I think about too.
I don't have anything to connect it to. They are 1-11 in quad 1 games. 1-11, and they play in the ACC
With a quad 3 loss as well too.
Yep, I was just saying 6-1 in quad 3.
And I mentioned before too, their one quad 1 win was against UCLA, and they barely won. They were down the whole game and pulled out of their ass at the end. So they could easily be 0-12 in the first quadrant.
I don't see how that's a profile. Even if I know they got to 20 wins and they're for 40th in the net. I don't know how on earth you can put a team that's so bad in Q1 games in this position to play in the NCAA tournament. They do not deserve a bid. But I just have a bad feeling that they're going to find a way to put a big name like that, being like, yep, they're going to have to get in. Because again, it's humans deciding things. They're inherently going to be biased, and they're going to make mistakes. And it's all about money. And as much as you don't want to admit it, they're trying to make money. They're trying to create matchups. You don't think that the NCAA doesn't want to find a way to get North Carolina and Dayton for the first 4? I guarantee you they're probably trying to think about that.
One last question: do you think Boise State, San Diego State? You think it's like is San Diego State? Does San Diego State have to win? Because Boise State obviously does, but does San Diego State have to win?
I think Boise State has to win more than San Diego State.
Oh, Boise for sure. Yeah.
Give me an overtime game and put them both in.
I mean, we're a Mountain West pod, so we want them both in.
Mm-hmm.
That's beside the point. But San Diego State is 3-5 in quad 1 games. They got 3 quad 1 wins. I know they have a bad Q3 loss, but they've beaten Creighton. They have probably the best win out of everyone. They beat Houston on a neutral site. How are you leaving a team that beat Houston out of the tournament?
That should be automatic. Next.
Yeah, check. Move on.
I have a great trivia question. See if you guys can guess who in the country has the most quad 4 wins.
Ooh, good question.
I don't know where to start with this. Thank you.
Are they? Is it
It's not Power 5 conference.
VCU.
Grand Canyon?
Great guesses, but no.
What conference?
Northeast
Arlington
Conference.
State?
Central Connecticut
East-
State.
Bryant.
Oh, Central
Yeah.
Connecticut.
those
Damn
are
it, they're a
Northeast. Central
wagon.
Connecticut State.
Central Connecticut State is. Let me read these to you. In quad 4, they're 21-4. Good job. Quad 3, 1-0. Quad 2, 0-2. But in quad 1, 1-0.
Oh, they have a quad one
Against
win.
they beat oh, that's gonna bother me.
Who do they beat?
Dusty.
That's incredible. That's
I
incredible.
don't know.
on it.
I don't know. I'm just gonna get the
Here,
number.
I'm pulling up right now too. No, it's not St. Joe's.
Also, as you're doing this, I just want to tell you guys right now too, as I'm looking at these, our shout for the day is going to be from Northern Alabama. They're 20-0 against quad 4.
So it is St. Joe's. So when they beat St.
St.
Joe's,
Joe's? Okay.
that's a road game. St. Joe's is 74th in the net. So
That's
it is.
fantastic.
It is in like. If
Who
you
just
pull up
dropped
Central
something?
Connecticut State.
Well, this is perfect, Robbie. That making a point. Central Connecticut State has as many quad one wins as North Carolina. Think about that.
Yeah.
That is the same amount. Keep one win.
Like, come on. Yeah. Unless North Carolina, unless they make it to the ACC championship game and ACC tournament championship game, they should not be in the tournament.
Or Caleb Love goes back and
Soon.
plays for him.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Another rough day for the Wildcats on Saturday, but we're talking about bubble.
Shocker. Who's shocked by that?
I am.
How many shots did Arizona? Here's the number of the night. Did Arizona lose by more points than Kansas, or how many shots did Caleb Love take? Is it more or less than the scoring margin they lost by?
I refuse to answer this question.
Yeah.
I'm not playing
He
little
shot it-
games.
There
It's
you go.
January, February.
He shot
Love.
it 12 times. He shot it 12 times. They lost by 7. So Caleb Love wins.
That's a low shooting night.
Yeah.
don't
See
know.
what happens when
Yeah.
you shoot more than 20 times? They lose, Robbie.
Remember the half court shot night? He was 1 of 11 from 3 that night.
Yes.
As in regulation, he only took 12 shots tonight.
Yeah.
Which will about me? He hits big shots.
Hunter Dickinson in that game had 33 points and 10 rebounds. And, of course, they win. And, I talked about it last week, how Hunter Dickinson is a poison to this team. And then he goes out and gets 33 and 10, and they beat a ranked team, of course.
Well, they could lose every.
First of all, I'm sorry this is a little delayed. Big West, 2 bid years. It's happened once. We were
Every year.
all alive. By the way, trying to find this is very hard.
They also been
There's not a lot of
pick.
big.
Who were the 2 teams in?
In 2001, the boys of Cal State Northridge and Hawaii both made it.
Shout out.
Wow. Oh, that was when Hawaii was in the Big West. Okay.
That's good producing, Jake. Thanks.
Well, then while we're on that topic, so the Mountain West, over under 4.5 teams in the tournament.
Oh, under.
Under? You think they get 4, not 5?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think they get 3 for sure, maybe 4.
So they're not. So they're not going to put. So okay. So New Mexico.
2 of them are going to
Utah,
Dayton.
So New Mexico and Utah State are in.
right.
Colorado State's kind of iffy. I think
Yeah.
they're kind of that's going to be a rough one. But San Diego State, Boise State, there's another one. So that's 3. So I guess I should have said 3.5. Over under 3.
Yeah, Colorado State might have to win. Probably has to win the Mountain West to get in. I would say.
But I mean, Colorado State. What are they in the net? They're
really good too, by the way.
I was gonna say
They lost their point guard from last year that we loved.
Isaiah Stevens not
Thank you.
this year. Yeah.
They are 55th in the net.
Yeah, so they're 55 in the net.
They're
They have
1-5 in quad 1.
They have as many quad 1 wins as North Carolina. So
And they're 50th in Kempom.
We should just tweet out a list of every team in D1 and say these teams have as many wins as
All the teams
Randomly.
are tied with North Carolina in quad 1 wins.
we should do that.
Probably randomly.
Okay.
Memphis dropped to 48 in Kempom.
Sheesh, you're 48.
The numbers don't like them.
I didn't know it was that bad.
They're a scary team. We had a
And Northwestern's
Memphis
47
battle.
above all of them.
Yeah.
I digress.
is
Go
a
ahead.
top 50 yeah. Anyway, so okay. So there's a look at bracket matrix. It's obviously going to be a fluid situation as we get closer to Selection Sunday. And yes, we will have a pod on Selection Sunday as we go through the entire bracket. We'll have some first impressions, maybe talk about some teams we like, dislike. I'm still going in with the double-digit number of double-digit seeds in the round of 32. I'm going to stick with that prediction. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition. I just rhymed and I didn't mean to, so that was cool. But anyway, Dusty, what catches your mind then for the past few days of college basketball?
Well, one is that now that I'm studying right now, College of Charleston, Central Connecticut State, North Dakota State, Bradley, UC Irvine, Columbia, Princeton, UTEP, Seattle, Murray State, Kennesaw State, Arkansas State, UTSA, Western Kentucky, Central Michigan, and New Mexico State all have the same amount of quad one wins as North Carolina.
I thought that's where it was going. Oh, that's
Love
wonderful.
it.
Keep them out of the tournament.
Hey, but give that
Fantastic.
extension. Give him that extension, right? Hubert.
Extension.
Got him a GM.
For me, you guys know how much I love this time of year. Nick and I were actually together earlier today. I'm so excited. I love this week. I love watching right now Wofford and VMI playing right now. Wofford's knocking me out of the gym.
Shout out Fletcher McGee.
And and we talked about this the other day, so pumped to go to Nashville this week I just feel like it's going to be just a crazy-ass SEC tournament. So that's just where my mind's at right now. I don't want to analyze too much. I'm actually just pumped to be there, and we're going to see, again, former players that we're close to now, and hopefully we're going to have some podcasts going on from Nashville, and Robbie will join us remotely as well. Yeah,
If you're a listener and you're going to be in Nashville, message us. Let us know. We'll meet up with you. Happy.
That'd be awesome.
Or if you have a girlfriend or sister that's going to be in Nashville, please let us know as well, too. We'd appreciate that.
Over 18, please.
Thank you, Crab. That's actually what's it called, like a deal breaker. Yeah.
Yes.
I say we go with 21, but if you guys want to stay with 18, that's fine.
Jay cut this part. Thank you.
I guess I don't know Tennessee laws, but go ahead.
There's not many.
I'll mention kind of my quick recap. I know we'll talk about a game that we want to discuss. I'll bring up Michigan State, Michigan, just because.
Yeah!
No.
They beat the hell out of them.
Wagon.
It got close at the end. Well, 12.
How do you let is Michigan State a good offensive team? Am I just completely glossing over the fact that they are an offensive juggernaut and they're just? Why won't teams pack the paint against them and just let them shoot as many threes as they want? IU literally gave every Big Ten team the blueprint to beat Michigan State, and nobody wants to do it. It makes no sense to me. Jeremy Fears shot one shot attempt today. One! He had
one more than Rocket
attempts.
Watts.
Yeah, yes. Let Jaden Akins shoot as many threes as he wants. Go right ahead. Wear that left arm out, buddy. You're going to get to 30% shooting. It's totally fine. Okay? Yes, you can connect the dots there if you really want to. But it boggles my mind that somehow nobody wants to just change up how they're playing Michigan. It has to be we're going to face them one-on-one. We're going to get in their face. We're going to try to lock them down. We're going to try to keep. It just feels like nobody knows how to play Michigan State. And I feel like no one wants to watch the IU game and watch that tape and be like, yes, we need to play that way.
Is that not a credit to Tom Izzo, though? I think that's the biggest part about this team. I love Izzo always. I've never thought he was maybe like the top 2, 3, 4 guys ever. He's been great for 30 years, right? But this team shows so much about, especially in the Big Ten, where he is just confusing the hell out of everyone and finding ways to beat you. And he's making them look like a juggernaut, and they're not, because Izzo is he puts those guys in the right spot. He's orchestrating out there, and it's incredible because this team is not talented.
Well, but what they are,
this doesn't blow. This team doesn't sniff the court with, any of his, even his Elite Eight. The team that lost to Zion.
Oh no, that team was exceptional. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. This is night and day from them, and going in the tournament, they're technically in the same boat.
They're going to be a 2 seed probably. Yeah,
it's very. I give a lot of credit to Izzo, and I want to hear you guys' kind of thoughts on that.
He's pulled all the right strings, and on top of that, his highest rated recruit can barely sniff the floor, which we all knew Xavier Booker was heavily overrated coming out of high school.
He couldn't start at Cathedral right now.
No, probably not. That was a bad fit at Michigan State. Everyone knew that he was going there for the wrong reason, so it is what it is. But yeah, I am supremely impressed with Michigan State, and I hate to say it, but also this confirms that, for Jake and I, Michigan's fool's gold.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Michigan is
Whoa, don't say you and Jake. I called them frauds 2-3
Well,
weeks ago.
Okay.
this is an
I should've put
anti-Michigan State. We're not lifting up Michigan State. We're blaming Michigan. That's why.
Michigan to me, when they were a 3 seed in the Matrix, Nick? I think 3 weeks ago, maybe
Something like that, yeah.
I would love, as a Kentucky fan, I'd love for Kentucky to be in that same bracket as them. I can't wait to eat my own words when we lose them in the Sweet 16. But
Michigan State did not
Michigan.
conference.
They know they lost to UNC and not UNC. Lost to Kansas in the non-con.
They did not have a great non-conference.
I was gonna say, my thing is they're a great Big Ten team, but does that go? Does that carry over against, Bama, Florida, Kentucky? They're gonna go score 100 on you. Can you keep up at that pace?
Okay,
Well, that's okay. So let me ask a question. So Robbie, I'm going right at you as obviously Purdue diehard and whatnot, and for a team that lost 4 straight, went through all that struggle, is because we're looking at the Big Ten getting 10 or 11 teams in. Is the Big Ten worth a damn? Because Jake made a good point. Can they run the floor with Alabama, Auburn, Florida? Can
San Diego.
Yes. So in an up and down game, up and down games are Michigan State's specialty. They want to play fast. That's always been Izzo's teams. It's the teams that grind you out. Like if it's probably not going to happen, but if Michigan State sees a St. Mary's, that's going to be the
that's why I took back Tennessee.
That would be fun. No, okay, so let's throw out some random potential matchups. So if Michigan State is a 2 seed, which they're probably going to be a 2 seed, the potential 7 seeds according to Bracket Matrix, there's 2 Big Ten teams, UCLA and Illinois. I think UCLA is a bad matchup for them. I think they would probably beat Illinois. But the other 2 are fascinating. BYU and Memphis.
Oh, and you guys know I love Memphis.
So I think Memphis actually matches up really well with Michigan State. BYU would be fascinating too. Like those are 2 teams that are kind of, that they would do some different things. Now, Memphis, I don't know if Memphis has the coaching to be able to go into a game plan matchup with Tom Izzo, because I'm not sure Penny Hardaway's that kind of a coach. BYU does. That would be fascinating to see that kind of an X's and O's matchup for Michigan State. And I mean, I said it, a month ago, Nick, that Michigan State wouldn't get past the round of 32?
Yeah, I think there's something about the second weekend.
So
as the Michigan State believer all year, I'd say my defense of them is they have legit 17 dudes that can go off at any given night. It can be a Trey Holloman game like today.
It was today.
Jade Akins.
Trey, let's set the record straight. Trey Holloman doesn't have these games ever. Like this is his first game he's ever done anything like this. So let's
Again, they had 9 guys score at least 4 points today. Like it can be Chase Richardson one game, could be Jane Akins one game. Fears is just unreliable. I think they should come at you in so many different ways. And yes, they don't. I agree. They don't have other than Richardson a clear-cut NBA player. And don't get me wrong, there's a very real scenario. They play a Memphis, and their talent does overwhelm them. But I just love this team. Like I said, they're just so deep, well coached, a good buzzword to say. And I'm a believer. It's a munch. It's more.
Yeah, and it could be Mateen Cleaves or Magic Johnson too. And Tom Izzo, get out of here. This is not your month. So I have Michigan State not getting to the second weekend. Let's go.
Oh, so you're an anti-Spartan too.
Oh, yeah.
Look at all these anti-Spartan.
It's 3 against 1 here, Nick. Deal with it.
So far, the one is winning on this one. Just for the record.
Nick said, you know what month it is?
Do you know what month it is, y'all?
Yeah,
His zone. They kissed the court today. Take that, Michigan. Did you guys see that stuff, by the way?
I did not.
do
So
that-
as soon as you said I was about to
yeah.
go-
No, Michigan was like trying to stop them. They're like standing
Yeah.
on the half court line. It was hysterical.
Gosh,
What is with Michigan and Michigan State in like midfield, mid-court logos? You remember Rashawn Gary like
or the tunnel.
scratching like through the Spartan logo, or in the tunnel? Like those two teams hate each other. Like you think Michigan and Ohio State hate each other? Man, Michigan State hate each other.
It's because of
Michigan
Mike Hart's
State
little
is-
brother comment.
By the way, Nick, for you, Michigan State is the 69th highest scoring team in the country.
Nice. Look at that.
Nice, yeah.
Nice. Shout out the Spartans. Believer.
Let me. So we'll kind of do this a little differently, but let me run through kind of the big games from Saturday, and we'll just get quick, instant reaction on them because I think there's a couple that are important. Let's start Auburn, Alabama. That's the one that I think was the most surprising. Did Auburn look tired to you? They looked slightly lethargic to me in that game. I don't know if that's just what I don't know. There was something wasn't working there for me. They look. Oh gosh.
What are they playing for? No, I'm not saying like why are they playing, but what are they? What besides being I guess Alabama your rival, but what hypes them up? For...
Jake, shut up. What did you just put on our screen? Don't try.
Yeah, hold on. So for those
That
who
wasn't
aren't
me.
watching us on YouTube, Dusty literally just hijacked the stream and put up a picture of Tom Crean kissing his son.
So it's an all black screen for me. I can't even see it.
It's gone.
So what?
It was better that way.
I thought Jake was trying to be slick and just keep on talking. Yeah, there.
He was very smooth during that.
I was going to say, Jake, you held your own there. That was good. Okay, but anyway, back to Auburn, Alabama. Like, yes.
You clinched the one
they don't
seed.
really
You
have
clinched
anything
the
to play
SEC.
for.
I mean, yeah, if you would think because it's Bama, you would. But outside of that, like I don't know. I mean, God, I see it now. I love that Dusty's email password's up at the top too. But it's like it's got to be weird for them, right? It's kind of tough, kind of odd. You're really playing not to get injured.
Yeah. And then Janai Broom has 34-8. Like, that was...
First of all,
Yeah,
that was a
big three
that was an
in
awesome
regulation.
basketball game. That second half was
great
awesome.
game.
And
Yeah.
to me, to your comment, I think it was a lot of it too with Bama looked very like the hungry.
We need
they
one.
Came out they're on an L2. Had lost to Jake's Gators, lost to Tennessee, and
They lost 5 of 7.
And Auburn's now 0-2 since putting a belt to ass in Rupp Arena, literally a belt to ass. And shout out Chad Baker-Mazara for getting thrown out of the game. Way to go, Chad. It's been nice to have you
He'll
play
get thrown
defense
out next year.
But yeah, that's a heck of a win for Alabama. Now they really, if they would have been an L3 going SEC tournament, they could have been on spiral watch.
But again, they've lost 5 of their
All right.
last 7.
Sheesh.
Yeah. What was the higher number? Chad Baker-Mazara minutes played or his age?
I know he leads both in the country in technical fouls and age.
Ooh. Didn't know the technical fouls part, but that's pretty funny.
He's literally my age. It's crazy.
So he played 18 minutes and he's 25 years old. So
He's a year old. He's a year older than Drew Timmy.
Damn.
Let that
And what's
sink in.
funny
He
is-
is a year older than Drew Timmy.
I don't know if you saw there was a story that came out today that he's probably coming back for next year.
saw
So he's
that.
going to be
He's in.
26 years old playing college basketball. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Good for him.
Chris
Good for
Winky.
him.
Like, what are we doing here?
If he comes back, the Perry Ellis meme has to die. It's now Chad Baker-Mazara. If you're 26 years old playing college basketball,
Yeah, but
you are the
multiple
meme.
schools doesn't hit like Perry Ellis.
I always hope that Perry Ellis looked 48. Was always the
All right, real quick. Most quad 3 wins in the country. Any guesses?
VCU. I'm gonna keep guessing them.
IU.
I think Conference USA.
UAB.
Tulane, thank you.
No, but I do love that Duke's in the top 10.
Memphis. No, they're American.
Tennessee State.
Well, who is it?
Middle Tennessee.
Shout
Oh,
out.
Middle Tennessee. Okay.
Not Kermit Davis.
I should mention as well, Grant Nelson was a freaking dude in this game. Like, he had that poster dunk that was awesome.
LeBaron Fillon, too, was awesome.
Yeah, but I think this is where Alabama's at their best. I think they got to kind of nasty games up a bit, and they shot 22 threes. Do not shoot more than 20-ish threes. Keep it around that number. You're not a great three-point shooting team. They made enough threes when they needed to. I think Nate Oates put so much into his system with, don't have a conscience, shoot as much as you want. But I think that's where Alabama's at their best, is get up and down as much as you can, but let's get to the rim, and if you can kick out for some threes, great, but don't shoot around 20-ish. Don't shoot more than 30 to 40. That's not where this team's at their best, I think.
Boston?
So, side note on Alabama, if Kentucky holds serve, it'll be Bama-Kentucky last game Friday night in Nashville. So that could be a unreal environment for that.
We're the last game Friday, aren't we? Florida?
The 3-6.
Oh, yeah.
The 3 seeds are last.
Game, yeah.
Oh, I was just looking at the way the bracket was versus the tip-off times. My apologies.
Yeah,
It'd be sorry to be better.
Which refers to my text last night, Nick. I figured we were the last game Friday.
Don't be sorry, just be better.
And I would advise us as a
ending.
pod not to do a pod after that Kentucky Alabama game.
I will be fast asleep.
Maybe Robbie can do like a Colin Cowherd solo.
Should we go find the Nashville Zoo and just go find an elephant?
I don't want to say anything and get Pete on my ass.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right, let's move on. Duke, Carolina, we talked a little bit about it. Second half, I don't know what North Carolina team that was in the second half. RJ Davis surprisingly actually played okay. Did Cooper Flagg, is he player of the year, national player of the year? Do we lock that in?
Yep.
Yeah.
It
kind of feels like it. And I'm fine with that as well.
He earned it.
Houston comes back in the second half to beat Baylor. I really like this Houston team, man.
So do I. So I was not high on them about 2 months ago. They are
Same.
dominating now. They're so good. They're so well coached, and Kelvin Sampson's amazing. They
just squeeze the life out of you. They're like a python. They take your heart.
If you watch film, the way they defend is they keep everyone outside the 3-point line as much as they can.
Yep.
They defend the ball screens so well.
They switch like crazy.
And they switch like crazy on off ball screens too. If you just go watch the film, I mean they are awesome to watch. I do think. I know Auburn lost 2 straight. I think Auburn and Duke are probably the 2 best teams. Even though I keep crapping on Duke because I feel like they haven't played anybody. Houston's terrifying. I don't think anyone wants to play them at all.
No, I don't either.
And I've mentioned before, they actually have like 6 dudes that can get their own shot. Like that used to be always their Achilles.
Which they never had. Yeah, they can
never
never
had
hit
that.
threes.
I believe they have 3 guys shooting 38% from 3 or better. Like they can actually get guys to fill up. It could be is it Uzan? Is that the point guard's name?
Yeah,
it could be him one night. It could be the guy with the weird last night name starts with the letter A. Don't know how to pronounce it. They just have Juwan Roberts. Like they're awesome. They might be my natty pick, just for the record.
Yeah, they're so now that we're kind of talking about this, so Florida also winning 90-71 over Ole Miss. Are the 1 seeds locked in? Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida. Like are we locked in there, or is Tennessee an outside shot?
Yeah, I would say so. What I said the other day. Let's see what happens this week. But
okay.
I would say yes. Right now, those are the 4 teams. But you're going to tell me if Tennessee was to win in the championship in Nashville that you're not going to put them as a 1 seed,
right? Especially if they beat Florida along the way too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the better question then. Auburn and Duke are locked in. Yes, they can lose their first game and still get a 1.
Yes.
1,000,000%.
Can Houston lose their 1?
If they lose 1, again, Tennessee wins the SEC tournament. Maybe I want to say yes. They are.
Who is Houston's matchup? Do we know the Big 12?
I have not seen the Big 12 tournament. There's producer Jake with his Florida game.
If they win 1, it's a lock.
Okay.
This jersey's so big.
It does look
so Houston is going to play the winner of TCU and Kansas, Colorado.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you can't lose to Colorado.
Remember, they're not on.
Take Kansas out. If Kansas loses, Houston can't lose to Colorado.
I would assume Colorado will beat Kansas. By the way, who would have thought this? Kansas is playing on Tuesday in the Big 12 tournament.
Wow. That has to be a first. That has to be a first. Tuesday.
So
right.
I think so. Houston probably will be the one. I don't. It'll be hard, but so
Auburn and Duke are locks.
Okay, so Auburn and Duke are locks. Houston is a near lock, and then that 4th 1 seed, kind of teetering on how Florida, Tennessee. Florida is definitely the 4th 1 seed right now, but they can do enough to lose it if weird stuff goes down.
Is there any chance that St. John's finds a way in?
And that's who I was going to bring up. If St. John's runs the table in the Big East, they would need some help, yes?
Yeah, there's probably need for like Florida and aforementioned Tennessee to lose.
I would say they would need. I think Florida, Bama to not win in Nashville.
Well,
I would
sorry,
argue
not Bama.
they need Florida, Tennessee, and Bama to not win.
Well, as I was gonna say,
like
I guess Tennessee probably is still getting that over them.
I
think Rick would get some love.
well,
I don't
can I,
think-
can
I
I
don't
step
think
in here for a second? Ranked higher on the Matrix than St. John's is Michigan State, so include them in that conversation,
No,
Robbie.
no,
They can get a
no,
1C too, damn
no.
it. Ha!
There's no eye test there, Nick. You gotta have the eye test.
My eyes like what my eyes are seeing.
Okay, I should mention. Let me throw. Okay, St. John's, by the way, right now 17th in the net. I don't think you're going to get a 1C with 17 being outside the top 10 of the net. Michigan State 11th in the net. I don't think you're getting a 1 seed being outside of the top 10 in the net. So I think it's those top four that we mentioned. Tennessee and Alabama are the only two teams that could potentially have a shot, and I think not even Alabama does. I think, and we've also seen as well, the selection committee in the past really hasn't done a ton of favors to the teams that win the tournament with their seeding. So I'm not sure that's going to make a whole lot of
a factor. Is the Big Ten still the last one to tip?
Last game to tip. And
so usually, the Sunday games in Nashville and Indy don't matter.
Yeah,
that's what for seeding purposes. Yes, they've admitted it before. They basically have the tournament locked in at that point. Yeah, no, you're fine, you're good. But yeah, so when Purdue won in the 2009, they had already tracked them in as the 5 seed going out west, which is stupid. You won your tournament. You're going to reward a team to go play out west in the first two.
Robbie's still pissed about it. 15
I will hold that against them forever. It doesn't matter. But I was in the same conversation. Remember, Iowa won the Big Ten tournament with Keegan Murray. They got a 5 seed, and then they had to play Richmond in the first round. You're not rewarding a team for winning the conference tournament by doing that. So I don't see a big push there unless Florida loses the first game and Tennessee runs away and wins the whole thing. That's the only way I think Tennessee is going to be the one. I think your 4-1 seeds are locked in.
Yep, same thing.
But again, they're not locked in. We're in this.
I know we're speculating, but that's just what it is.
Yes.
Robbie, I need your lock button.
We do. We need to get the lock button. We need to find a way to get sound effects.
I can get it on here. I just gotta add it in there. I just never thought about it.
I'll send it to you after the show. Maybe the most inexplicable loss of the weekend came in Madison, Wisconsin, where the mighty Wisconsin Badgers, playing a team that had nothing to play for, literally nothing, and you lose by double digits to Penn State.
This was a disgusting loss, Robbie.
This one hurt my bank account.
Probably hurt a lot of bank.
I think I had 3 or 4 live bets on Wisconsin.
Very, very Sandusky-like loss.
Yeah.
But like this,
well put.
And I fell into my own trap here. I will be the first to say it. Wisconsin does this every year at the end of the year, where they start realizing, oh crap, we're actually pretty decent. We're going to start believing that our stuff smells and we're really good. Well, they've now lost 3 of their last 5, and they fell from being a Big Ten championship contender in the regular season to the 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, this game, too, they're up 18-5 to start the game, too. So it's like they came out quiet and stuff like that. And also, too, shout out Penn State. Me and Duster told us there last night. Not many teams get to say they won their last game of the season. So shout out.
We're going to break this down. Nick and I were talking about this last night. We're going to break down who actually won the last game of the season.
They'll take a CIT invite, right?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Or are they going to play in that Crown Royal tournament or whatever that is that they're doing?
We're a college basketball podcast. Does anyone know what that is? I don't get it either.
Because I don't care. I just don't.
We're going to care when we're talking about all the teams that won their last game.
Yeah, probably. Penn State was 11 for 19 from 3 against one of the best 3-point field goal percentage defensive teams in the country.
Because they play teams like Michigan State. So, yeah.
John Tonji just 2 for 13 from the field. He did not make 1 2-point field goal. This feels like Wisconsin every single year. That now they're going to be a 4 seed, and lose to 13 seed Liberty in the first round because they just I feel like this is wash, rinse, repeat for Greg Gard's teams as they crash and burn down the stretch of the season. And I don't understand why, because they looked so unbeatable when they played Purdue earlier this year. Now they're just like this. It's shocking.
It's crazy. There's a lot of teams right now going through. Like Missouri is on L4. A&M lost 4 in a row at one point. Wisconsin's going through right now. Purdue had a little tough stretch. I don't know. A lot of teams are getting like the dog days right now, right before March. So I don't know. Maybe it's good to get the losses out now.
Well, I did just read Kentucky and Missouri, by the way. What were you gonna say, Jake?
Well, I was gonna say real quick. I just found out that Mike White single-handedly kept Florida from winning the SEC regular season. Just saw a tweet there because we would have won the tiebreaker, which that just hurt. So sorry, I digress.
That's all right.
Yeah, that was like sad.
It was.
You got Mike White.
Kentucky continues with the theme of playing great against great teams. 91-83 winners at Missouri. Obviously, again, no Jackson Robinson for the rest of the season. Otega Owe was incredible.
Andrew Carr was great.
Some big shots. Andrew Carr became a rebounding menace in that game. And Lamont Butler just facilitated. It didn't seem like he did too much, which I think that's kind of his wheelhouse. So are we obviously we're encouraged by this, but have we changed our stance on kind of where Kentucky can finish, where they can go in this tournament now?
I have not changed because my whole thing all year is I do not know what to make of this team. Like, I have no idea what the expectations are. Like, you can tell me Final Four, and I believe it, because, again, as Dust have talked about, we've all talked about, they've beaten, like, almost every good team they've played, they've won, outside of the state of Alabama. Other than that, they've beaten, like, every good team they've played. But then they've lost to the Georgias and, you know, a stinker against Ohio State. So, like I said, this team's broken my brain. I truly think anything's possible. And I mean anything. That could be San Antonio, or it could be, oh wow, it's Thursday afternoon, they're done already. So it's kind of fun. I really do not know what to expect this team. It's so volatile. But awesome win Saturday. And shout Crab, their first 2-0 week since December. I know you've been on that.
Finally, yep.
Crazy. About time. Missouri's bench almost outscored Missouri's starters.
Well, because it was this girl
46 to 37. The starters outscored the bench. The bench had 37 points. The starters had 46.
This game was interesting too because neither team could score the first half, and then they could not miss the second half. Shout all the overbettors out there. 107-point second half.
107 second half points. Nuts. We'll end it with Purdue.
Justin, what do you think about Kentucky and their ceiling?
Well, real quick. I talked to Nick about this. I'll be very brief. So now we're going along today. I told him last week that, and I may have said this on the pod last week, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I honestly think the announcement of Jackson Robinson being done for the year is great for this team. Because now it's just like it's not purgatory anymore. Love him to death. I wish he was with this team. But now it's like you have other people, players like Chandler and Elway, like whoever can step up now and be like, okay, we're not waiting to see if like our really probably fiercest scorer is playing or not, or playing the next game. And I think they've seen like a completely different team, even with the Alabama loss in the last really 5 games, and him finally getting announced that he's done for the year. They seem rejuvenated, and I think you do have someone, Mark Pope, that going to Nashville, where in the past I've talked about this, where Calipari was so, whatever, I don't want to play in this tournament. Well, guess what? You couldn't win an SEC tournament game, and then you couldn't win an NCAA tournament game. Like, what the hell do you want? And I think Mark Pope is the perfect person with this roster and whatnot. And so, like Nick said, I mean, yes, they could literally win the national championship. They've proven that from the teams they've beaten. But they could lose that first Thursday at the 12:30 a.m. or 12:30 p.m. game. And I'd still call it a great season for what the hell the roster looked like last July. Where it's like, who the hell's going to be on this team? So I'm excited for Kentucky regardless. So great win at Missouri, and can't wait to be in national and see how it goes.
We'll end it quickly before we move on then with Purdue. Bit of a surprise how they ended that Illinois game, losing to the Illini. I will be honest, I thought Purdue actually played pretty well. I was shocked at how Illinois just could not stop making threes at the end of that
At
game.
the end, yep.
And ugly looking threes. Like they didn't look confident.
Oh yeah. Hummerick House is not a great 3-point shooter, and he made back-to-back threes. Where do we see Purdue? Because I obviously can tell you where I see them, and I think every person on this earth is going to say, FDU, St. Peter's, Little Rock. Here we go again. Honest question, is Purdue trending that way?
16, a Sweet
Robbie,
16 is a successful season. That's all I'll say.
I would agree.
Robbie, I'm going to say this. I said this to Nick yesterday in person. I asked him, what was the seed that Purdue has not lost to yet? And it was 14 or 13?
14.
And I said, well,
they've almost gotten the infinity gauntlet of every double-digit seed.
I know.
Let's print the T's.
And I think I said to Nick, I said they need to make a little run in the Big Ten tournament to get to that 3 line so they can lose that 14 seed.
That would be really funny.
I'm not.
Second round.
I am not confident in them at all.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
I will say
was a
this.
month ago. I'm not.
Yeah. Why? What changed? Why are you not
I
confident?
don't. Just watching them, they just don't. They look almost flabbergasted in their games. I mean, it's almost turned into like
Like
it's
that word.
Brain Smith or nothing else.
Well, I was going to add to that. I was going to say I think there is something that yes could put them into a Sweet 16. Again, you got to make shots on top of that, of course. But if you have Fletcher and Miles Colvin, if they just say fuck it, let's shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
When he came out the second half, or the end of the first half against at IU, I was at that game, and then he had Miles had another first half. I think last week, again, where he popped off like 3 threes in the first half. But again, he looks confident.
Yeah,
There's no
against
hesitation.
Rutgers, yeah.
If Fletcher and Miles just say, "Hey, we got to just shoot it like we're Ryan Klein," then there's a chance that they can make a run because Braden is good enough and TKR is good enough and their little dynamics where they need that extra push and that extra, hey, like, oh shit, someone else came to play today.
Yeah, they're missing kind of the fourth guy because I think that you're going to pretty consistently get Trey Kaufman, Wren, Braden Smith, and Fletcher Lawyer to score. Who's the fourth guy to step up? And at times it's been C.J. Cox. Sometimes it's Miles Colvin off the bench. Sometimes it's Cam Heide. You don't really know. Like Jakari Harris had 8 points in play. Yeah, definitely Will Bird for sure. But I think, and there was some rumors that were floating around about Braden Smith battling like a flu bug over the last 3 weeks, which that would track with how poorly he played in that losing streak. That makes sense. Part of me, as Jake, you mentioned, if they made it to Sweet 16, that's a successful season. But they're consistently defensively, they're finding ways to beat themselves. And it's second halves of games that for some reason, if there's just these moments where you can see it, you like, okay, here we go. Here comes the urine down the leg. It's coming. It's happening. And it happened again against Illinois because they were up double digits in the second half of that game, and then they gave up an 8-point spurt, and it was like, okay, here we go again. I think mentally this team is fragile, especially in second halves of games, and I worry how that's going to play when you get to the tournament. The last thing I'll say on Purdue, and it's just completely inexplicable, how this team continues to be the team that's called for more fouls against the other team in the Big Ten. It makes no goddamn sense. It just does not. This Purdue team, I know there's a difference between being physical and there's a difference between, being called for fouls physical. Like there's a difference. But this Purdue team they can be physical, but how the hell is this team continuing to be called for more fouls than teams like Illinois, Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State? It's consistently happening. Mm-hmm. And the one constant it is? It's Jeffrey fucking Anderson.
His high knees are awesome, though.
We're hitting high knees, baby.
He's the worst official in all of college basketball, and it's not even a contest. Courtney Green, you are now off the hook. It's Jeffrey Anderson. Because that technical foul that he called on Miles Colvin was the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever seen in a basketball game. He's literally pulling up on the rim, looking down to make sure he doesn't land on anyone, and then Jeffrey Anderson, pop, that's on you, get out.
He should have high-kneed while he was hanging on the rim.
Yeah, he should have done something more. There was another just ghastly awful call that went actually for Purdue. When Kasparas Yakuchonis got that block on Fletcher Lawyer on that 3, it was completely clean and they called it a foul. Like, the Big Ten officiating is, like, college basketball officiating is dreadful. And we all know this. And I'm done lamenting it because it drives me crazy. But unfortunately, it's going to happen in the tournament where bad officiating decides a game. And it's going to piss me off when it does because it shouldn't. You have diva officials that want to make the big call, and they're so fucking obsessed with themselves, and it drives me nuts.
And especially late in the game, they know that they get to double check their work by going to the monitor if they're not confident either. That's the one problem I have too. That they can change call, not just change a call, but flip a call from what that thing is hideous.
I know, it's great.
Second worst mascot. I like that distinction. Not the worst.
Who is the worst?
No, the Providence Friar is the creepiest.
Robbie, have we considered, so Kentucky's like the last 3 seed right now, and Purdue is on the 4 line, but they both can move down. Will we do get Purdue Kentucky 4-5 seed matchup? Have we considered that yet?
I hope not.
I
really hope not.
Well, real quick, can we just read this out loud right here?
Purdue Pete is creepy?
What? West Lock, Indiana. Purdue Pete.
What a lead! What a lead on that. This is the last thing I'll say on Purdue, and we can move on. The Final Four next year is in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the regional final is in Chicago. Okay, this is not the year for Purdue. Every Purdue fan knows this. This was kind of the bridge year to next year, but Purdue needs help on the front line.
Dusty's about to lose his privileges.
If Purdue does not add a big man, if they don't add another guy that can guard, they're going to find themselves in a very similar position as this year. So Daniel Jacobson's going to be a good player. Riley Burgess, I think, is going to be a good player. But this team needs a quality big man that can protect the rim, that has some age on him. And they need another guy that can guard. They are missing that Lance Jones kind of guy on this year's team.
Ooh,
you can see it. So we'll see if Matt Painter can go and find that in the portal. I think you're going to see some players end up leaving. I don't know who it's going to be. It may not be anyone. Maybe everyone comes back. I don't know. I think it's going to be every roster's fluid at the end of the season, but for Purdue, it's going to be very interesting to see the direction it goes. So, okay, there's your Purdue Kentucky talk from your favorite players.
Well, Robbie, you just opened something up that I've been wanting to ask you. Are you worried about Braden not being in a Purdue uniform next year?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. As long as his dad stays off Twitter, I think we'll be fine.
Well, that is not happening. I'll tell you that.
I know. Unfortunately, it's not. But no, I think Purdue will find it in their best interest to keep their best player happy. And I think there's a pride aspect that Braden Smith has that he wants to find a way to win a national championship for this school and this team. And I think that's part of him that wants to do it. Because, again, he helped Westfield win their first sectional championship. Like, that was a big deal when he was there in high school. First Mr. Basketball. I think he wants to kind of be in that same position where he's in the conversation to win the Wooden Award, and he gets this team to another Final Four and finds a way to win the national championship. So I think there's a pride aspect of this that people are underestimating with him. He wants to do this at Purdue. They're going to pay him handsomely. There's no question about it. They did the same thing with Zach Edey. Purdue's going to take care of his guys.
I know it's kind of. What did Edey get? $2 million?
I don't know exactly how much he got, but he got enough. The problem with Edey was because
he's foreign.
He was in the United States as a Canadian, yet technically, so he was foreign, so he wasn't getting the same kind of NIL. But they made it worth his while. They were.
And yes, everyone, Zach Edey is Canadian. That is a fact. I know that's not what
he's not. But he's not the biggest Canadian.
Who's the biggest?
Oh, Mr. Oliver Ruiz for Florida, the 7'9" guy. By the way, here's a little fun fact for you guys about Oliver before we go. The size difference from Oliver to Edey is the same of Steph to LeBron. Weight is like about 10 pounds off in terms of like the ratios, but I just hope that Todd Golden can make him understand how to like actually like catch and do something, because you have a set.
This guy better be working down. All you do is talk about this guy. I've never seen him dribble a basketball. This guy better be somewhat good for how much you talk about him.
No, Nick, there's one thing about him. He's 7'9". That's it.
Yeah, but if he was worth it,
And he weighs like 340.
He's 7'9".
So
How bad is he then? You can't get on the.
Here's the
redshirted.
here's the
Exactly.
We're the best team in the
Here's the
country.
only-
He needs a red shirt.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
I'm done.
Jake, there's a reason why Purdue didn't want him. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, he also
All right, so my last name. Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say, he had a good point, but him going to IMG was a huge help for landing at Florida.
Yes. Very much.
I
so,
just
yes.
know that
Okay.
I'd like to start raising money for us to get Braden Smith to New Mexico State next year, because once we do that, this is going to be Robbie.
Is this? Oh, that's great.
I got rocks.
That's a
All right,
stash.
Let's move on.
Let's go through the conference tournament champions that we will have coming up here. All right. So, let me just run through it here real quick. Okay. So the SoCon championship game will be coming up Monday night. Furman is one of those teams. That's great. Sun Belt Conference Championship also coming up tomorrow night. That's Monday night. Tuesday night we will have the West Coast Conference champion locked in. We will have the Northeast Conference champion locked in. We'll have the Horizon locked in. Coastal Athletic Association. Those are our Tuesday games. I don't believe we don't have any. No, we have the Patriot League on Wednesday, Southland on Wednesday. We'll take a break on Thursday. And then Friday is another break, I believe. And then Saturday and Sunday, that's where you get America East, ACC, all those other conference tournament championship games. Should have mentioned the Big Sky is also on a Wednesday. So of the conferences tournament championships that still exist, outside of I guess you could pick a main one, but pick the one that you are most looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Nick, I'll start with you. And you can't say, no one can say SEC because that's obviously going to be.
Oh, they weren't my
most
first or
enjoyable
second.
'cause you guys are going to be there. Okay, so who's going to be, Nick, the conference tournament you're most excited to watch?
This is a really fascinating question. There's a sick part of me wants to say the ACC because I just want to see what chaos
Damn
goes
it.
on in there.
That's what I was gonna say.
But I think shout out our sponsor. I think it's the Mountain West. That San Diego State Boise State game is gonna be so massive. They both need it, and see if Colorado State's gonna be desperate too, and see if Richard Pitino can get the sweep, regular season and tournament. So those probably the two I guess that stick out to me. So shout out the ACC. I hope someone like Pitt makes a run or Notre Dame. That's all I want.
I mean, we did have NC State last year, so things can get weird. Jake, what's the conference tournament you're most looking
So
forward to?
ACC is gonna be up there just because it's just. I mean, I don't know if people follow Sicko's committee on Twitter, but
Yes.
wonderful follow. That's what ACC tournament is to me this year. The fact that they have not had a single ranked versus ranked matchup in 180 games this year in conference play since January is absolutely absurd.
Insane.
And there's gonna be some chaos going on. But if it's gonna be a little serious one, I'm very excited for the Big 12 tournament, especially with the new court. If you guys saw the women's just finished up, TCU and Baylor.
Awful.
I called Nick with 6 minutes
Oh,
left, said
my
Baylor
gosh.
plus 8.5. We covered. But no, I'm really excited for the Big 12. It's just, for me, it's always been a fun tournament that you have some really, really talented guys and a lot of talented players that are going to up in. You'll watch in 2-3 years in the NBA. But it's always just mayhem and chaos. And it's usually one of the longer tournaments. Now it's shrunk a little bit because the SEC and Big Ten of realignment, but it usually was one of the longer tournaments that we had as well.
Is it still in Kansas City?
I believe. I'll fact check that.
That's always a great crowd. It's a ruckus environment.
Yes, it's in Kansas
Great.
City. Yep, it's in Kansas City. Dusty, what's your conference tournament you're looking most forward to?
I have two, so sorry, I'm double dipping. Atlantic 10 to start with. You guys know how much I love these tournaments. VC George Mason, a rematch of them most likely. But you have Dayton, Loyola, Chicago. St. Joe's and St. Louis are both 11-7 this year. But even I had St. Bonaventure ranked a month ago.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to see that one. And the other one to me that's intriguing is a major one is the Big 12. And is that who Jake said? Did you say
Jake said Big 12, but no, definitely.
What does Kansas do? What happens if Kansas is what I'm intrigued with the Big 12. And then
is there any real quick? Is there any chance Kansas doesn't make it if they lose to Colorado in the first game?
They'll make the tournament.
Yes, not make the tournament. Are they
Yes.
Are they comfortably in?
Yes.
Even if they lose by 30 to Colorado,
They still have a win over Duke. They beat Arizona on Saturday. They still have enough good. Yeah, I think they're safely in.
Can we?
They're
I'm
fine.
playing,
I
I'm
like
playing
it.
devil's advocate.
Can we have an?
It's amazing.
If Colorado wins by 30, can we have an emergency pod, please? Can we have an emergency pod if Colorado wins
sure.
by 30?
Yes, we'll do that. And I'm sorry, I'm not done because
You're
you guys
fine.
don't know how much I love conference tournaments. Big Sky, I have a colleague that has the Big Sky tournament, which I love.
Yes.
I sent you guys a picture. It's amazing. And he knows nothing about college basketball. So he actually called me last week and was like, how to explain to the people what the Big Sky tournament is. And then the other conference I'm really want to see happen is the Big East. I mean, is UConn going to scare the hell out of everyone or not? Is Creighton a Final Four team or not? Like I predicted to start the season. Georgetown, I also had ranked at one point.
The St. John's fans should be out in full force too.
Did you have Georgetown ranked and not Mississippi State at one point?
Yes.
I don't know if they're the same rankings.
I really hope they are.
Yes.
Okay. If Robbie, change the subject. I'm gonna go check if there's the same ranking.
Okay. Go double check.
I do have
I'll
that.
mention my conference tournaments. I first off want to give a shout out to the Sun Belt Conference and their just absolute amazing bracket. And I think more conferences need to do this, where they set it up. Basically, if you were a top 4 seed, you got a 5-day bye. So basically, they only played 2 games a day for all 14 seeds. So 14, 11, 12, 13 played. Then the 9 and the 10 would play. Then the 8 and the 7 would play the next day. 6 and 5 would play the next day. 4 and 3 the next day. Then the 2 and the 1. Which that greatly benefits how important it is to play well in the regular season. Because then if you get a top 2 seed, you only got to win 2 games and you've won the conference tournament. So that I think that rewards those teams in the regular season for what they do. So I love that the Sun Belt does it differently than anyone else. And there's a reason why the top 4 seeds are the last 4 teams remaining in that conference tournament. So I love that they did that. Old Dominion almost made a little bit of a run there towards the end, which was really cool. So a 10 seed that got to the quarterfinals. But I'm going to go a little off the board here. This is going to be a little different. I'm actually most excited for the America East because there could be a chance we don't see the conference tournament championship game played at Vermont, because it feels like we see it every single year being played on the
Do they not host it?
If Bryant, no, they don't. They're just the 1 seed every year.
I thought they actually with the host location St. John's playing at Madison Square.
No, it's
I thought that's what. Okay,
right. No, they give the host site to the top seed, and it's always Vermont. This year it's Bryant. So if Bryant beats Albany coming up Tuesday night, then we're going to see Bryant hosting the winner of Maine versus Vermont in the America East Championship game. And if you remember, if you ever watch the America East Championship game, I feel like it's just always pure chaos.
Sold 3,500 people bouncing around, sold out, packed into a gym. It's like sexual.
Like noon on a Saturday. It's great.
Yes. Yeah, it's always the early game on Saturday. Gets us all started for a great day. So I'm really excited for the America East. I'm obviously intrigued by the Big Ten, but that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. Dusty?
Real quick, Jake, on January 6th.
What happened on January 6th?
Here are my rankings in the late 20s.
Seriously?
Oh,
Oh,
on our favorite holiday.
Mooch.
I had ranked 20. Gonzaga, I had 21. 22, I had Utah State. 23, I had Georgia. 24, I had Georgetown. And 25, I had St. Bonaventure. Mississippi State.
That'll do it.
I'm assuming that's right after Kentucky lost at Georgia.
No, I had Kentucky 4th.
I mean, Georgia was actually ranked at one point too.
What was I know, but what was the date of that? So this is the ranking right after the Florida Kentucky game. Never mind.
I dropped Kentucky on January 20th.
Yeah, you guys just beat Florida. That was January 4th. So
I'm also
All right.
I'm also
Go for it, Nick.
curious to see if Georgia Tech makes a run. Does Nathan George play 200 minutes in 5 days? Like, actually, he may play 200 minutes in 5 days. That's gonna be fun. That's something to watch.
He could. Yeah, he very well could. Patriot League championship game, by the way, is going to be American
yes.
versus Navy. If you love your country,
Yes.
my gosh, that is the game for you, my friends. And also, it is
Oh,
weird.
Nick just did it.
So
Cheers to you.
Colgate not going to win the Patriot League this year, which is weird because they were like a team that I think they won the last 5, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty impressive that we'll get to see American Navy. Navy had that big one over Bucknell this week. Okay, before our shout-outs, I'm going to end with this question. How many teams does the SEC get in on Selection Sunday? If you had to say it right now. Dusty says 12. Jake says 14. Okay, Nick?
I think Oklahoma's going to get in, so I'll say Texas doesn't, so I'll go 13, I guess the number I'm going to say. 13.
You know it's going to get weird when South Carolina
I'm
runs
gonna
the
say-
table.
That would be incredible. That would be amazing.
I'm also going to say 13. I say Texas gets in, Oklahoma doesn't.
Does Roddy Terry keep his job? I say
Texas doesn't
even
get
they do get in.
He should have
You
regardless.
think he's still?
Even if they make the tournament,
That's-
probably not.
I think he's pretty much a dead man walking at this point. Unfortunately for him.
He needs to go back to selling chicken sandwiches.
Shout this string.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with Dusty. I'm gonna go 12 teams. I think Oklahoma and Texas are left out. I think that the
So do I.
board committee.
Unless one of them wins 2 games, I think
Oklahoma's in.
Oklahoma, Georgia.
Ever since they
Oklahoma, Georgia.
were like, wait, they're on the bubble. They've been on a hot streak. Besides Kentucky coming back and beating them essentially down the wire. I mean, other than that, they've won 5 of their last 6.
I don't think that's true.
But they've lost.
They've
7
won
of 10.
W2.
4 of the last 5.
They've lost 7 of
I don't
10.
think
They've
you're right
won
there.
3. They've won
3 of the last
3 of
5.
their last
That's what it
5.
was. 3 of the last.
There
5.
we go.
3 of the last 5.
But
But you have a home loss.
They won 1 of the last 2. Let's just keep it. Dumbing it down.
Like they've got a couple bad.
W1.
And I know. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I've been against Oklahoma being in the entire time. So I'm with Dusty 12.
and
Nick
real
says
quickly on
13,
Thursday,
Jake says
Texas plays Vanderbilt and Georgia plays Oklahoma. So those are just massive games.
2 big ones for sure.
You think Texas and Vandy have ever
All
played
right.
before prior to being in the same conference together?
No way. I can't envision that matchup.
That's a good
I'm
question.
going to do some homework.
That's a good question. All right. End of show shout-outs. We obviously started with Dusty because this is the one part of the pod that he does prepare for. And we are always excited for him to have his answer. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. Nick, but it's just,
No, I actually had a funny story, but we'll hold my story off since it's been a long pod. Because my shout out is going to be I have 4 groups of people that I need you guys to vote for. Ready? Best.
I'm not voting for the Democrats, so no, you can't make me.
I spent hours on this trying to find out if these 2 are related or not.
25
The
minutes.
best 4 father-son duos in sports history. Ready? We have Bobby and Barry Bonds, who hold the all-time record.
I didn't know his dad played in the league.
Really good,
and
too.
RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really good player.
And I believe steals, but that's not what I found today. Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr., who we all know famously hit back-to-back homers, which is insane.
Yep.
And then Ken Griffey Sr. was the first base coach for Ken Griffey Jr. when he played in the World Baseball Classic. So we have the Bonds, the Griffey Juniors, old Tom Morris and young Tom Morris.
Just the Griffies.
Yeah.
They weren't 2 Griffey Juniors, just the Griffies.
Old and young Tom Morris, who both have 4 British Open titles. Old Tom Morris is the oldest champion all time. Young Tom Morris, who died at 22, is the
King.
youngest champion.
Whoa.
all
He
time.
won 4 British Opens and died at 22?
7?
Oh yeah, he carved Shirley.
Wow.
But the reason this all got brought up is because
Went down the rough.
I still cannot find out. Northern Alabama's playing today, and but when they were playing D2 ball, they had Bill E. Jones, who's in the Hall of Fame, and Bill L. Jones were back-to-back coaches.
Father son?
One's in the Hall of Fame, one's not. I cannot find out if they're related or not. You have no idea how many archives I went through of Northern Alabama basketball.
I will be reaching out to their athletic department tonight.
Please,
I'm dead serious.
I was literally on a walk. I was literally walking with my wife and our dogs, trying to Google it then too, and I could not find.
Wait, so you include them in these rankings, but we don't even know their father-son?
No, I want you guys to, but I need you guys to vote. So,
so you gave us homework, or
no? So
you
we
want
have the Griffies.
we have the Griffies, the Bonds, old and young Tom Morris, and assuming
We
Bill
don't-
and Bill L.
And
Jones
thank you,
are
and Dusty,
related.
thank you from the bottom of my heart for not putting LeBron and Bronny on this list. I actually genuinely love that.
I was waiting for Bronny.
Hey,
Bronny
keep
and
this son's
LeBron.
name out your mouth, people. But I guess the Joneses are fourth because I don't even know their father-son. I think.
Give me the Morrises.
Yeah, I think the Morrises might be one.
Died at 22 with 4 majors.
And
King.
then I'd go the Griffies, go Reds, and then
King. All right, so Jake, I like you say it. So we talk about all the Jordan LeBron comparison, and LeBron's longevity, Jordan is peak.
Young Tom Morris.
Young Tom Morris peaked. Yes, he peaked early. He's the Jordan
Might
of
get a-
golf.
Can you buy golf jerseys?
Okay, where's
Is that a thing?
Well, 3 of the 4 of us are going to the Masters this year. Maybe we should get some old and young Tom Morris outfits to wear.
Give
me some knickers.
So we have old
careful
and young
there,
Tom
Gene.
Morris. Where's middle Tom Morris? Is there a middle Tom Morris?
Mid.
He's just smoking a heater, sitting back, saying, "Look at my brothers."
Well, it's funny because I went and visited St. Andrews in Scotland about a year and a half ago with my wife.
It's
When we
sick.
went on a trip over there, and they had a really cool shrine to old Tom Morris there at St. Andrews, which was really cool.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna,
So-
when you texted us that today, I thought you were going to say you poured his ass.
Did you walk over the bridge on
I
one?
wish.
God,
Oh
that's
yeah,
awesome.
walked over the famous covered bridge on one. Walked along the beach where they shot chariots of fire as well. That's the same beach as St. Andrews, which was really cool too. So yeah, highly advised if you ever get an opportunity to go to Scotland and go see the old course in St. Andrews. It's highly recommended, but awesome at the same time. So,
All right, so
anyway,
so to answer the question, the Jones are off the list, so we're going with the.
Are they not
Morrises.
related?
yeah, we're going with the Morrises.
I told you
don't know.
I'm reaching out to their athletic department tonight. We'll
I know.
have an update on
wait.
check, please.
Okay.
Yeah, so
We'll
no
have-
Griffey or
I'll-
Bonds either. They're just being kind of.
I said second and third. I said Griffies 2, Bonds 3.
I know. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, the Griffies don't have 8.
Yeah, we're all in agreement here.
So
Yeah.
Morrises. Congrats to the Morrises. Wait.
Yes, great job, Morrises.
Here's
Very
our
proud of you guys.
trophy.
Is that Milo standing up?
Oh, you got a trophy. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Oh,
that dude.
If that thing starts
Only
talking,
young Tom Morris.
Oh, thank you, Robin.
There. yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's your intro
Don't
for check,
forget.
please. B. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it should be. I like that.
Yeah, Jake, get the answer
Uh,
for check, please.
Nick,
I now have
shout
two
out.
shout outs. The first shout out, we didn't get to mention it earlier. IU did have a big win over Ohio State. So shout out our Hoosier listeners out there. That was a big win for you guys. But my shout out
win,
is
yeah.
to the Oakland Athletics for 2 reasons. First of all, they
baseball
sent
draft.
their new renderings for Vegas, their stadium. But the reason that's noteworthy is they did this last year and forgot to include bullpens, netting behind the home plate. They spelled some of the players' names wrong, so they got that right this time around. Nice job, Oakland Athletics. And they're in the news because they signed some players to a long deal. His name's Lawrence Butler, okay? 2018 draft pick. The reason I bring him up, anyone remember the A's first-round pick in 2018?
Mike
No,
Schmidt.
hold on.
Brent Rooker.
Dual sport athlete,
Wait,
right?
It's not Brent
Mm-hmm.
Rooker.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Russell? Not Russell Wilson.
Kyler Murray.
Not
Yes,
Kyler
Kyler
Murray.
Murray.
Thank you.
Oh, it is
Shout
Kyler
out to
Murray.
so the 2018 draft was not a bust for the Oakland Athletics, in case you're wondering. So shout out the A's, they're hysterical.
And also Nick, you keep saying.
Oh, thank you.
Athletics. If you go into the MLB app, when I see the Astros schedule, for those that know I'm a big Houston Astros fan, it literally just says Athletics. Like they don't even put it
No
up
city?
anymore, so,
Athletics.
yeah, it
The
just,
athletic
go look,
baseball
it just
team.
says Athletics.
There's their name,
Yeah.
just like Washington football team, the athletic baseball team.
I love we have 2 baseball teams who are nomads.
So-
2 teams who don't have like MLB parks. Shout out baseball.
It's funny you mentioned Kyler Murray because I actually bought one of his
Ooh.
autographed cards
That's
at the
not-
card show recently.
What a great opportunity for Robbie.
2018
Right?
first round pick to the A's. Shout out to them.
Robbie, what's your Cards Instagram account again?
Indy_cards 18.
That is not a free ad, so I'll take that
Follow me
down.
Thank you.
Those are all my shout outs.
Well, Jake, while we're at it,
So I have two quick shout outs. The first is to, for all of us Hoosier listeners, I spent the last couple nights over at Sectional 8. Noblesville lost last night, sadly, to Fishers in the sectional title. But shout out to Coach McClendon, Coach, and the Noblesville team that I watched today. I am very, I'd say, probably cocky when it comes to, like, you're not going to tell me that other teams are going to beat my team from back when or whatever. And Dusty's team was number 2 in the state, 20-3 at one point, or right, 20-3. We've been
Dusty's team. Yes, let's make sure it's Dusty's team.
I believe we were ranked 3rd in the state.
All right, Phil's team. But regardless, but no, the Noblesville guys, that we half of Carmel's gym last night full of true Noblesville people, and it was a hell of a week. So shout out to the Noblesville Millers for a great season, but they'll be back next year. Justin Curry
And listener of the pod, Corey Mertens. Shout out. He's on the staff.
And Corby stopped me last night after the game and said that he's excited to watch us on YouTube.
Corby.
So hi Corby.
Hi, Corby.
Hey, Corby, thank you for listening, but M-I-Z, screw off, MFer.
Yeah, Corby's had a rough weekend.
Yeah. And he's a Mavericks fan.
And we just lost a subscriber.
And he's a Mavericks fan too, so he's going through that as well. Shout him.
I'll tell this. Okay, I'll give Corby a shout out. So I coached Nick and Corby in AAU one year, and I'll never forget we were playing in Carmel's gym, I believe it was, and Corby drained a 3 late, probably under 2 minutes left in the game, and it was one of those cool moments where you have like a player coach and he came running down the sideline, and we just had an amazing high five as he's running back on defense. So that's my moment with Corby that I always remember.
That's awesome.
Love that. That's awesome. All right, I got 2 shout-outs to wrap it up for me as well. The first goes to one of my former students, Alex, who is a big listener of the pod, so he's a true GFOP of the pod. Loves college basketball, student at Ball State. So, Alex, shout-out to you, my friend. I got
Thank
to
you,
chat
Alex.
with him recently, so he's the man. So we got to talk a little college hoops when he came back and visited me this past week. And then my second shout-out is going to go, this is going to be weird, but it's going to go to the Iowa men's basketball team today. I don't know if you guys saw it, but as Juwan Gary was exiting the floor today, right as like with 1:47 to go, Nebraska's gonna lose. It's gonna be a tough end of the season. They're not gonna make the Big Ten tournament. Almost the entire Iowa basketball team on the floor is consoling Juwan Gary as he's walking off the floor and dapping him up. So I thought that was pretty cool. So shout out to Iowa, as much as, you know, I don't want to give a ton of credit to Fran McCaffrey and his team, but Peyton Sanford and those guys, that was really cool. Great show, sportsmanship. It's a bummer for Nebraska. But
Dusty, go back.
To Iowa. That was pretty cool.
Watch out, Steve Harvey. Someone's going to come take over the Family Feud host.
Robbie, why do all these guys look
That
like
is what you actually, Robbie, I don't think I've never looked at a photo of you and thought I actually see your father in the same photo. That black and white tint makes me think that it was your dad at first. There's the Robert I know.
Well, that's how we look alike. So there you go.
Also,
Robbie right there. So if you're not watching us on YouTube, Dusty's just pulling up
Richie
pictures
Incognito.
of me when I looked at well, then
How do we
there's
get from Robbie to
Richie
Richie Incognito?
I don't know.
Robbie, one more shout out. I think for
All right,
basketball
so
purposes, Jokic had 30, 20, and 20 on Friday. That is insane.
Oh,
Shout out to him.
hold on real quick. I have a tweet to read. He didn't just have 30 in 2020. He is the first player to have separate triple doubles in the game after a break.
That's insane. He's so
That's nuts.
Oh, Dusty, I got to cut this now. I know McKinney. You got to take that down.
We gotta get out of here.
Wow.
was-
Wow.
Yep,
Okay.
probably a good time where we get on out of here where Dusty's not.
He was my teacher.
Mine too. Wasn't pretty enough, evidently.
That'll do it for this episode of the D1 and Done Pod. We appreciate all of you tuning in. Again, a week away from the Selection Sunday brackets, so we appreciate y'all. And enjoy the conference tournaments. It's going to be fun. I know the fellas will have fun in Nashville, so we will look forward to more good
This
stuff.
time next week, we'll have a bracket, y'all.
We will have a physical bracket in our hands.
Jake after Nashville.
And I'm stopping.
Probably a good time to go ahead and check out. So, all right, we'll see you for Check Please later this week and some other cool content coming from Nashville. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
January, February.